Hello Internet, I'm Chrissy Duffy and today we'll be talking about the day that I quit the arcade. But first, I'm just going to list my schedule for the week. That was the last week that I worked at this arcade. And so my very last week was in August 2019. And it was the last week I worked there. And the schedule, as it is written down in my phone, because I always put the schedule in my phone to remind me when we got it, because we got our schedule through this weird app. So it was Sunday, August 18th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the arcade. On Tuesday, August 20th at 9:30 a.m., I had my interview at Coworks. And on that same day from 2:30 to 7 p.m., I had a shift at the arcade. Thursday, August 22nd from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m., I had a shift at the arcade. Friday, August 23rd from 5:30 to 1 a.m., I was scheduled at the arcade. Saturday, August 24th from 12 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., I was scheduled for the arcade. And on Tuesday, August 27th, that was my first day at Coworks, where I worked 6 o'clock or 6:30 until 2. Yeah, it was 6 o'clock to 2:30 every single day, or what it was supposed to be, as the schedule was described to me. But it was the same starting time, Monday through Friday, every single day. But yeah, that is my work schedule that was scheduled for that week. And now that this is all listed in my phone, it doesn't have the actual hours that I actually worked, as I often was asked to come in early or had to stay late to help with transitions and or closing. I had been trying to find a new job for a while, and Knack sent me info about this temp agency, Coworks, that he had worked at briefly. He said the work was easy and pay was decent. He didn't work there long because he jumped from the arcade to there, and he really needed some time to decompress, especially after all the bullshit with Goffle and everything. After all, I am sure by all of my previous arcade stories, you can all see why we needed a breather afterwards, after quitting that place and then going to work elsewhere. At this time, I was a food and beverage lead, and I was only making $10.25 an hour. Matachi was a food and beverage supervisor. Sonia and Amy were associates, and that was the whole food and bev staff. I don't believe we had anyone else there at that moment when I had quit the arcade. Everyone else was either left or it was just us four there. Now, another thing is I was constantly told whenever I was given my quarter raise, they would legit just raise your paycheck by a quarter, that I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody about how much I was making. She forced me to have more responsibilities in order to get said quarter-cent raise, even though I was legit overdrafting every other paycheck there. So that's fun. So yeah. I had applied to the temp agency and got an interview on Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. At 9:30 in the morning, right before my 2:30 to 7 p.m. shift at the arcade. The interview went well, and I was chipper. I got a call on either Wednesday or Thursday while buying the required steel-toe shoes for the job. My start date was made for the next Tuesday, August 27th, 2019, because if I recall correctly, Monday was off because it was a holiday, or I'd asked to start Tuesday just to give myself a little bit of breather because I wasn't sure on which day of the week I was going to quit. But yeah, I was so chipper. Customers at the arcade noticed. A few even asked, and I happily told them that it was my last week. I was trying to decide if I would quit Friday or Saturday, going back and forth in my mind. I also contemplated just quitting on Thursday as well. I had a friend from another state visit, and we hung out Friday morning. My Friday shift was not until 5:30 p.m. My friend was going for a bad emotional breakup, and we went for a walk around a track field while she told me about it. During this walk, I got a call from Matachi asking me to come in early. And I mean, like, early. I think he called me, I was supposed to come in at 5:30. I think he called me around 3 or 4:30 because I wanted to drop her off at least an hour or so before I had to go in, just to give myself some time to, like, decompress because I'm an introvert. I have, like, tiny little short amount of battery space to be around, like, people. So I take a little bit longer to charge up and decompress than others. But yeah, he called me, asked me if I could come in early. Now, Gavel hadn't been in the arcade for nearly like 2 weeks with no message to us, leaving Matachi in charge of everything. A very stressful job. I was personally annoyed at being asked to come in early, especially with my friend in such an emotional state. She was crying and everything. She was super hurt and broken up about this relationship, and she's a beautiful goddamn angel and saint, and I don't like seeing my precious little friend cry. So I told Matachi that I won't be in, that I'm quitting today, and I'll be there at the start of my shift with my uniform to turn it in. I, to this day, do not understand why companies want a dirty uniform shirt back, but whatever. Plus, why do you give us only one shirt and then call us in every day? Like, when do you think I'll be able to wash this shirt? Because that happened often. Like, at the beginning of August, like, I looked at my schedule and my calendar, and I had been in to the store every single day on a scheduled shift for like a whole entire week or two. And like, working in the kitchen, dirty job. You're constantly getting dirty from like grime and stuff, cleaning out the fryers, soap, all that, cleaning the fucking pizza oven. God damn, have I told you guys about the fucking pizza oven yet? But yes, that shit got dirty so fast, so stained. Didn't matter how much OxiClean I used on the bitch. It went from white to like a nasty ass fucking gray. I swear to God. And you had to pay to get the shit replaced. And they would take that from your check. So I never paid to get my shit replaced. Somebody took my shirt and gave me a different one and said he would wash the other one and give it back to me for one day. But yeah. I had told Matachi that I was going to quit before, but Matachi had presumed they were just jokes. So to hear me state this over the phone, he went, "Oh, Chuck isn't going to like this." I nodded, stating I'd see him later. I went back to comfort my friend before taking her back to her parents to visit them before she had to go back to her state that she lives in. I went home, gathered the hat, the name tag, and the t-shirt they gave me as a uniform into a plastic bag that I think was from Publix and or Kroger based on the color that I can vaguely remember. No, this was 2019. We have had a whole fucking plague happen. Dumbasses won't get their fucking vaccine shot, and frankly, I would be more than happy to let them not have it and kill themselves off. It would be fucking hilarious. Let Darwin, as someone once said on TikTok. But moving forward. I was nervous to be confronted by Goffel if she was there. I was fed up with her attitude by then. The guards that were at the door were shocked to see me not in uniform. One of them told me when I visited later on that it was a dark day when I quit. I walked into the back office, bag in my left hand. Chuck, Jet, and Scarlett were at their desk, probably talking amongst themselves. Chuck walked up to me as I happily handed him the bag. He asked me questions about where it was going, how much it paid, yada yada. When Chuck heard I was going to be making $11 an hour, he scoffed. I could have done that. I happily brought up it would be a steady, consistent schedule, 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and health benefits from day one. I only got offered health benefits from the arcade after being there for a year, to which I had declined those health benefits as I was still on my father's health benefits, and I didn't know how that would affect it. But the next year, I believe in 2020, I was going to be dropped. So, yeah. And the schedule for the arcade was never, ever consistent. Legit, for 1 week at the beginning of August 2019, I worked every day that week. I often closed the kitchen and bar, leaving around like 3 a.m., only to be called at like 9 or 10 a.m. to come open the kitchen a few hours later. Like, the kitchen had to be open at 11, so I would be called between 9 and 10 to go open that bitch. Constantly. After I had closed. The lack of consistency in my scheduling was just too much for me, plus everything else happening there. Chuck made me fill out a 2-week notice form, backdating it so I would have the option to come back if I wanted. A thing I never planned and still don't plan on doing. Every time I came to visit the arcade for fun, several people would say how much they missed me. Jet would ask, "When are you coming back to work?" To which I would just laugh. I'm not sure how Gothel reacted to me quitting, as she hadn't been there for like 2 weeks at that point, and for like another 2 weeks or month or so afterwards. We later found out that she had gotten into a car accident, to which I hoped she was okay and safe. I later heard she quit without coming in at some point. She came back as a food and bev manager a few months later before leaving again. I know for a fact she was working there again when Chuck, the general manager, pretty much resigned and put in his 2-week notice as he got a job closer to his place. So I know she was working there for a little while, but then she left shortly after that. And while I personally don't like Gothel, I do hope she is doing well. I know she had a kid that she loves, so I hope her and her family is safe and healthy. Chuck left, and a lot of us old employees went to the arcade and threw a party for him. He now has a job closer to his home, as I stated. In fact, let me see if I can find the date he left. Give me 2 little shakes of a lamb's tail if you don't mind. Because I have messages. Yeah, so he left September 22nd, 2021. That was when the party was. Because I have messages in the Line group chat, the app we use for work. So joyous, yeah. So he left September 22nd, 2021, which was about a year ago. And that's when Gothel was back there working. So it was after lockdown, all that. Jet was taking medical classes. If you don't remember Jet, I didn't really discuss him that much. He was the game manager. He handled all the arcade games and stuff. The new GM apparently had insulted Jet, and Jet, being a boss, said, "Bump this." And I believe he was now working in a medical field somewhere, as he was taking medical classes, from what I heard from Oakstar. Funny comedic part, Jet had the bar license. Without Jet there, or someone with a certification, they cannot legally run the bar at this moment. So the bar is now officially closed for good. This fact I didn't know until I went to visit Oakstar on her last week, and she told me. Because I had mentioned, odd that, like, it's 3 p.m. and the bar is closed. On, like, a Saturday or a Sunday. I don't remember which day I went to see her. Amy left to focus on her schoolwork. She was in college. Though she did keep her job at the kiosk in the mall after leaving the arcade. I do not know if she still works there, though, as I have not had contact with her. Sonia works at a local blue supermarket, and it pays at least $15 an hour starting, from what I remember she told me. And I do see some of her stuff on the TikToks, so it's nice to see her doing well. She's absolutely fabulous. Nak is currently in another state, probably being a badass I know him to be. I don't know what he does for a living, but I know he's in another state, and he's probably doing fantastic. Matachi was the last to leave the kitchen department. He now works at Amazon with his super cute boyfriend. Absolutely adorable. I do worry about them working there because of Amazon's reputation, But he says everyone is nice, so I guess their building is one of the good ones to work in, as there is a lack of exhaustion and pee bottles. Matachi is who I keep up with the most, as we both love the Sonic franchise, and I do make an effort to run by wherever he lives, pick him up, and kidnap him for a couple hours. He offered to help me with Sonic Colors, but that game keeps glitching out, so that Let's Play is just never going to be finished, apparently. Oakstar now works at a place she used to work before she came to our arcade. She makes more now, has a better schedule that works with her and her school schedule, as she's getting a degree currently. She was the last person, and way too much was put on her shoulders. Like, she's the last person that worked with me at this arcade to leave. And they were just piling, like, every fucking thing on her shoulders. Like, pretty much, they were making her doing, like, manager work, or trying to get her to do manager work, and all that. And she was still, like, a regular employee. But, yeah. And I'll try to go over that in, like, a whole nother story time later. But she is doing better and is happier. I don't have contact with really anyone else, so I don't know how they're doing personally, but this is by no means the last arcade story I'll probably be sharing. So please share some of your I quit stories down below. Thank you all for liking, commenting, subscribing, being super awesome. I'm Chrissy Duffy, and thank you a whole bunch for watching. Special thanks to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters, Dymond, Glass, and Micah. I have all the links to all my socials down below. I've got Patreon, Ko-fi, I've got Redbubble I'm working on. So yeah, thank you all for being here. And yeah. Oh wow, this is 17 minutes. I'll cut it down. Bye bye!